Hello, everyone. Wow, the lighting is not ideal, but whatever, right? Because sometimes it's not, but you still need to go live and tell the world what you do. So, my name is Matthew Hagum. I am the founder and CEO of 10kcreators.com, and I am on a mission to help artists thrive. I have been asked, what does 10K Creators do? And to be fair, it's a brand new company. I started it this year. I've been in the accounting profession for about 18 years. I've been a business consultant, small business advisor, and most of my work has been helping small business owners, entrepreneurs, and now artists to understand the sort of nuances or complexities of business, navigating really their financial decisions so that they can do two things. One, improve how they make money, and two, improve how they manage money. Right. So after having served as the CEO and president for several years for various organizations, and after having been also and still am a practicing artist, dancer, choreographer, I said this year as I stepped into the new year, hey, what is something that I can do that really brings my skill sets together and my passion together to help artists thrive and improve their financial lives? So I started 10kcreators.com with the mission to help 10,000 artists find their path towards financial freedom. What does that look like? Well, the current structure I'm working with is a membership model. So individuals will pay $250, a one-time fee, to go through an onboarding experience. That onboarding experience covers the things I talked about earlier, going into how that individual makes and manages their money. But as a result of that conversation, we also look at two other really important things. One, we look at the unfulfilled dreams of that individual, right? Oftentimes, as an artist living in the sort of scarcity mindset or the starving artist mentality, those big dreams that we have about the kind of art that we want to make and the impact that we want to have on the world can often get forgotten when this system that we're inside of starts to or continues to enact its oppression onto us, right? So the truth is, we're in this system, it is oppressive. We'll get into that later, but the bottom line, or we can get into that later if you'd like, but the bottom line is the goal is to not only survive the system, but to begin to thrive through the system as the system hopefully begins to transform and change over time. Also, another a conversation for another video. But nonetheless, we go through this onboarding call. Again, we talk about how they make and manage, the artist makes and manages money. We talk about their big dreams. And then we set some really clear goals, three goals in specific, to really identify what are the rocks, if you will, that if moved will help that person take one step closer towards that big dream that they have that also improves their financial lives, right? Then after that onboarding call, we go through a 90-day accountability sprint. This is co-created in the onboarding call where we talk about what kind of a structure is going to help that individual artist to achieve the goals that we've laid out. Now, on my end, I'm all in, right? I am subsidizing the cost of the labor on my end it takes to do this work to help my clients by offering a very affordable entry point into this work, right? But what that means is that at the end of the day, unless you begin to thrive, you aren't how do I say this? I'm not out there to just make a ton of money off of you. Let's be clear. And so what do I mean by that? Let me be explicit. Well, some of my clients, after they've completed their 90-day sprint, the thing that we begin to talk about is how do we generate revenue through new business models, right? So some examples that we're doing right now, I've got a few artists who are launching e-commerce platforms. I've got artists who are thinking about service offerings to corporations. And in my exchange and collaboration with them, we come up with commission agreements that can support them and support me so that we can ultimately support the community, right? So a couple of other things to make mention of, right? We talked about how we help clients to make money. Well, how do we help them to manage their money, right? So the other thing that I'm really concerned about is this idea of cash flow management. I love, maybe I'm slightly obsessed with spending time in a spreadsheet trying to figure out like how are we going to make all the money work so we can pay all the bills and continue to do the things that we want to do and continue to grow and thrive, right? And I think oftentimes artists get thrown these sort of budgeting workshops or these bookkeeping workshops or these tax workshops, and they're important, right? It's important to have that information, but it's sort of one off. And if you're not making money and you're not managing your money well, then being sort of obligated to handle this tax thing at the end of the year is kind of like just a burden at best, right? And so for me, what's important is that we begin to look at your mindset and your behaviors around how you manage your money so that we can start to change that in order to be a more effective cash flow manager, right, of your own resources. Now, again, I will help you. I have spreadsheets, I have processes that I go through, and I really want to share that with you so that you can be empowered, right? Because at the end of the day, if you choose not to continue working with us through our membership structure, so it's the $250 for the one-time fee, right, to become a member and go through the onboarding process, then it's $47 a month after that. The $47 a month entitles you to access me and my community and this community of artists and entrepreneurs who are aiming for the same thing. Now, sometimes that means that my work is getting on the line with you and troubleshooting how to fix your website, right? With my clients who are building e-commerce stores, technology is sometimes not their cup of tea, if you will. And so I'm there to help them get the thing done and work through that challenging technical issue. I've even set up all day work sprints with a couple of my clients to ensure that we cross those things off the list and get the work done that we need to get done, right? And of course, my business coaching and consulting work. Some of my clients, I'm actually helping them to build new, basically build new programs inside of their organizations. There's a client that I have that's actually a nonprofit arts organization as well. And really, again, it's about helping these organizations to shift the needle and create revenue generating opportunities so that we can then manage cash into a new form of existence for ourselves, right? So the other thing that happens in this community, I do connect you or my clients with a lot of, oh, maybe you're my client, maybe you're not. I don't know if maybe you know an artist who wants to be. But point is, I do work on connecting my clients to community members who can make a difference for them. So for example, I have a couple of partnerships with financial advisors. Some of my clients just need to get the education that they need, right? They need to talk about the different types of insurances. They need to talk about retirement planning. They need to talk about wills and end of life stuff. They need to talk about how they're going to get out of debt and deal with whatever is going to become of these student loans as we continue to evolve that whole conversation. Nonetheless, it becomes about becoming responsible for the information and getting the resources that you need. So sometimes I don't have that information, right? I think there's a myth about that, hey, if you're an accountant or a numbers person, you know everything. Well, the truth is that's not the truth, right? My skill set is in helping clients to improve how they make and manage their money. But when it comes to more complex bookkeeping, for example, I have a couple of clients who are and need to hire better bookkeepers to help them improve their QuickBooks file and run reports that are effective. I can get you over the hurdle of finding the right person. And maybe I can even do some of that work with you. But at the end of the day, if you have a complex accounting system and you're generating a lot of transactions, maybe you need to hire somebody that specializes in a particular niche, say nonprofit accounting or inventory-based accounting. Nonetheless, my goal is to make sure that those resources are being brought to the table and that as a community of creators, we are working together to, what do they say? Raise the tide, right? Raising the tide rises all the ships. And so my vision is that we have a world full of artists, full of creators who are financially empowered, because when artists are financially empowered, they're making the work that the world needs in order to grow and evolve and shine the brightness, shine the light into the world, because that's what we need right now. We need, we have a lot of problems: racism, sexism, homophobia, all the isms, all the forms of oppression that come from institutionalized racism and capitalist structures that are oppressive to us as people, and so we need to look at those things and re-examine. Anyways, nonetheless, we also need to survive those things, and the truth is, I think that if artists can be empowered to tell stories and create empathy for the world, not feeling financially oppressed, and ultimately, in some cases, like what had occurred to me, becoming a starving artist, then we can actually begin to contribute to a different kind of conversation and a different kind of transformation in the world. So that's basically a really sort of messy version of what is 10K Creators and how does it work. And look, the truth is, again, I'm building this thing. It's the first year, and so I am looking for clients to join the community and to become new members, so that we can start to work on this stuff together and see what happens. So if you're interested in working with me, if you want to have a conversation, explore a little bit more about what's possible, go to 10kcreators.com, fill out the contact form, and let's start a conversation. I'm also looking for great referral partners, people who I can introduce to my clients, that have resources that can help artists to thrive. So with that being said, thank you very much for joining me today. I am wearing one of my new shirts, the Designated Motivator, because I think that's kind of what I am. All right, so if you want a different relationship to money, you want to manage your money differently, you want to make more money, you want to think about money and really just shift the needle, reach out to me. Otherwise, be well and pass this video on to somebody who might need the help. Peace.